you stay mentally strong?
I think it comes with the person that you are in a way, and also because I am who I am and I carry the chief per se, the director, the clinical officer, title is, you have to be that, because if you show your emotions right away, and not everybody wants, you don't want everybody to be able to read you, because it's part of your decision making, your critical thinking on how you're going to deal with the situation that comes, in front of you. It all depends on what situation it is. But you have to have that flat effect, because then you can't just, I don't know, you can't just give it all out there that,
you can be vulnerable.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because then everything can just happen within minutes.
Or they can keep poking you as well. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so honored to have one of our very close friend of mine. At the same time, we partner, and we're a partner in crime for almost every single thing that we do here in our Denu headquarters in the whole company. We butt heads all the time because we are decision makers and we talk about raw ideas day in, day out. But what an honor. It's Friday. It's raining here in California, and she has a lot of things piled up, on her desk to do. But I had to grab her for an hour to be with us and just chat a little bit. So I'd like you to welcome our Chief Clinical Officer, Pearl.
Thank you, Amabel. Thank you for having me today. Yes, it is raining, and what you just said, we are partnering crimes in everything that we do, in every word that it means. So yes, thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, so just want to let everybody know we post a lot in our Facebook page, and right. I get a lot of phone call like, you guys are having a good time, you guys are always eating, you guys are always traveling, but there are so many things behind the scenes. What you see is really not even close to what we do day in, day out. So every single day that we work, we come in, we show up, either we're already frowning because we have problems to solve, or like, oh my goodness, or cleaning up some messes that we also do right. Day in, day out. But it takes someone strong, somebody like you, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can really be comfortable with day in, day out, to talk about anything and everything under the sun. So Pearl, let's just forget about Denu real quick.
Okay. Oh no, not about me.
I met Pearl when I first got here. I was working in a nursing home. I was a nurse. I was applying to... I mentioned, I think, in one of our podcasts that I was a caregiver. But after that, I was able to work as a nurse in Riverside. That's where I got to meet Pearl then. And we go a long way. And then throughout those years, we see each other on and off nursing homes, and then we talk on and
on
off,
events and
events all throughout these years until we cross path again.
Right.
And then the Lord just were so good to us and
draw us to each other again,
and now we're working together.
Yes.
Right? But I'd like to just capture some of those moments that I want to share to everybody, because we want to we'll talk about leadership today. Leadership, life, love, and lifestyle. But to get there, like we've been talking back and forth, it doesn't happen overnight. There's preparation to it, and there's cues.
Right.
Along on your journey along the way.
Right.
And then you kind of know, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Which path you're going to take.
Right?
Yeah.
So you were not a nurse then. Your first job, your first course, your career, you were a flight attendant.
Yes,
right?
I was a flight attendant for Transworld Airlines. Right.
Let's talk about that. Okay.
So, my younger years, I was a flight attendant for TWA. I was there for 2 years, and I was originally just flying around Asia, mainly in Hong Kong and Bangkok. So that's what I did for 2 years.
Thailand.
Yes, I was based in Thailand for 2 years, and that's where I met quite a few friends along the way, and until they unfortunately they had to file bankruptcy, and I was one of the newest one that had to be laid off at that time.
You were, how long did you
I was at TWA for 2 years. 2 years.
So you were so when it was it got closed down, you left Thailand.
Yes, I left Thailand. I came back here. Yes, came back to the U.S.
and then were you influenced to take nursing, or what happened there? What
So my
took you
family,
nursing?
my sister is actually a nurse. My brother is also into healthcare. He's a physician assistant. So we have worked together. I mean, the family is mainly doing healthcare services. So my sister is the one that influenced me to take up nursing.
Ate Sheila.
Ate Sheila, yes, Sheila. She's been a director of nursing for a long time as well, and I work under her. But I wasn't really, to tell you the truth, I wasn't really interested in nursing. Nursing was not my first thing. I can say I'm Filipino, so it's in our culture that everybody takes up nursing. We started that way, and I did other things, not go into nursing right away, but that ended up to be my career thereafter because of the influence of my sister and also the mandate of my parents. So
To take
to
nursing.
take up nursing, yes.
So everybody is here in America.
Yes.
That time everyone was here when your dad
Right.
was alive then.
Yes.
So everybody is in America, but you decided, or
They
told you to take nursing offshore, or did you decide on that?
they decided that to take up for me to take up nursing offshore, and I wanted to stay here, of course, because this is where I grew up. I came here when I was 2 years old, so I was going back and forth between here and the Philippines. But I ended up going to the Philippines and going to school there. So it was a rough road, but yeah, I was able to complete the necessary requirements to be a nurse, and that's when I returned back here. And every summer I would come back and do some work. I challenged the LVN course, of course. I got that first before being an RN, and I'd come back here and work as an LVN, and then go back there and do other
nursing.
things. Yeah.
And the other
Besides
things in
nursing,
between.
right?
That sounds like a good life while you were out there.
It was a good life. Yes, it was a good spoiled life.
You're the youngest in the family.
I am the youngest. There's 5 children in the family. I have 5 siblings. There's 3 late girls and two boys, and I'm the youngest. But I feel like I'm the oldest.
I keep mentioning that.
I feel like I'm the oldest, and my sibling knows that.
So let's talk about leadership,
Okay.
right? When we were chatting, you were just having a good time in your life.
Right.
You're the spoiled youngest, right?
Exactly,
Pearl in
yeah.
your family. And when I met you, are you leading, right? And then all those years when I talked to you, you're leading somewhere. You're administrator, and then
Right.
at one point where you were Department of Health,
Right.
and then but for the most part that I've known you, you're working in the corporate already, right?
Right.
Was it even planned, or how did you even get there, or did you plan to get there?
None of these are planned. I don't think everything is planned out for you. I mean, it's a path that you gotta take. It's chosen for you which way you're gonna go. I did clinical nursing. I did bedside nursing for a very short time. I fell into the management part of it because I had an administrator that believed in me and actually assisted me with some of the other schoolings, into the management, the clinical management. That's how I got started. It's not, as I mentioned before, nursing is not my chosen career. But when I started into the management part of it, that's what I enjoyed the most.
Somebody was mentoring you.
Right. Somebody, Mr. Westfall, he's an administrator for a facility that I used to work for, and I believe you as well. So he's one of the ones that started me off into the management part. I started off as a staff development for him, and then I learned the assessment and the MDS portion of it after, and then moved on from there.
And then I want to capture that because I want the audience to know that, and to resonate to that what you just said. We are so busy working in our career, and we're not gonna really land in a good position
Right.
until someone picks us, right? Until someone out there believes
Believes in us, right.
right? We cannot just apply. We may apply, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna get picked
Correct.
until that person will pick us and give us a chance.
Believes in you and trust on you. And yes.
Correct. So whoever asks you to do something or believes in you, thank that person, because no matter what you do, you cannot get there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So keep blooming where you are, right? And then that person, that your boss, your supervisor, will always be able to witness that. And when they see that, then you get handpicked
Right.
to keep moving up, right? So Pearl, leadership. We have our company alone. We have tons of agencies,
Right.
And there's several people working under you, directors, and everybody has their own personality.
Yes.
And every agency is special, right?
And that is the most challenging part of it all, is just, the emotional backgrounds of everybody, dealing with this, the emotions and mentoring different type of behavioral, everybody has different ways of dealing with the daily life. So you just need to mend in and, get in the middle of all that. Yes.
And there are many times it's not really a bed of roses. We want to cry. We want to pull our hair.
I think that's why I'm losing my hair now,
Like, ah!
Yeah. But, you got to love what you do. It's all about that.
That's the key.
If you're not passionate with what you do, you don't, it's all about that. That's how you balance life. That's how you balance your day to day. To me anyways, because yes, you just mentioned there's a lot of different things that goes on every day, at work. There's a lot of different behaviors, a lot of different emotions, a lot of different decision making. It's just what you choose to do first and what matters to you the most.
Exactly. Yes. And also that's what something I want to stress, because for the last few years we had companies and we know people who's been working from home.
Right.
And of course there's a need for it. But one thing, if you're young and you're working from home, that's something you actually will miss. You will miss leadership, right? Because you won't get to see a lot of people. You won't be able to practice your skills enough to be able to keep moving forward, right? And for you to be moving up the ladder, you should be able to understand behavior. And you should be able to have that attitude of really trying your best to understand them as well, right? And hearing them, because they're really going to come in different form, right?
Yeah, you need to know how to resonate with conflict, resolve conflicts. You need to know how to manage that. Again, it's all about staff development, how you get them started in the beginning and where you want to take them at the end. Because if you don't understand all that, the midst of that, everything's going to be chaotic later on. So it all starts from the beginning, how you would train a person, how you would develop a person to be, how you want them to be.
So when you talk about leadership, it's really dealing with a lot of people.
Right.
And sometimes we're not just a nurse. Most of the time we're like counselors, psychologists.
I think that's
lawyer.
the best word, counselor, yes.
So that's what we play. So
Right.
for you to be a director or a chief, you need to have a balance of that. You're not just coming in, by the way, I'm an RN, but you're not coming in as an RN. You're
Right.
coming in the whole shebang,
Yeah.
As,
Yeah, your nursing skill kind of stays in the background now, because then your management comes in. And also not just have the knowledge of actually managing, but you have to have that interpersonal relationship with your staff. Because if you don't understand how they think, how they work, I don't think you're going to be able to meet them halfway. You have to have that, again, I keep mentioning balance. It is what it is, balancing what's your priority and the emotional value of that person that you're dealing with.
and it doesn't happen overnight. We also
No.
need to grow up in our own, right? Our own right.
Right. And that's also one of the important things. You need to understand yourself. Know what you want. Value what yourself as well. Because if you can't work with others if you don't start within yourself.
That's actually what we were talking with Janisa in our previous podcast. How we were rooted, the values that we have coming in.
Right.
It's not enough that you graduate as an RN or even with the highest degree. The values play a big role in your career path, in the leadership role that
Right.
you're accepting or you have right now.
Right.
Right? So, and then the mentorship behind the scene, whether it's your family, it's your peer, and the people around you plays a big role in your ability to keep moving forward as a leader.
Right.
So, you know what I like about you? And I want to copy that, but I'm still having a hard time. Your facial expression. When you meet with people, you tend to you make it a point and you try very hard to make sure it's flat. That
Right.
you have to control your emotion. I'm getting there. Yeah. So, but even that, learning that composure and not to get into that war zone
Right.
is not easy.
No.
How do you do
it's
that?
not.
How do you stay mentally strong?
I think it comes with the person that you are in a way, and also because I am who I am and I carry the chief per se, the director, the clinical officer, title is, you have to be that, because if you show your emotions right away, and not everybody wants, you don't want everybody to be able to read you, because it's part of your decision making, your critical thinking on how you're going to deal with the situation that comes, in front of you. It all depends on what situation it is. But you have to have that flat effect, because then you can't just, I don't know, you can't just give it all out there that,
You can be vulnerable.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then everything can just happen within minutes.
Or they can be poking you as well. Yeah.
So-
Not to have that sound judgment,
Right.
right? To do
So-
what you need to do.
Exactly.
And day in, day out. Guys,
And I don't think it comes with practice. It's just like, you just need to learn how to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. Depending on the situation part of it.
I
So,
think exposure to, and like what you
Exposure,
said
yes.
earlier, the love of what you do, that plays a big role. If
Right.
you love what you do, and of course, when you say you love what you do, you love everyone around you. You love the people that make that happen as well.
right.
And sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do.
No. Yes.
Yeah. So, leadership, and I know it's not always easy. Okay, we have problems day in, day out. How do you cope after work? How do you make it? You come in the next day. Of course, for us to be leaders, we show up no matter what, right? And you still, the next day you come in with fresh mind again and fresh pearl again. And then earlier with Janisa, we talked about preparation. What about you? What do you do after work? What makes you to be strong? What makes Pearl the next day coming into work?
My coping mechanism is really, well, now it kind of changed. Originally, it's shopping. It's got so expensive that it became
Most
my thing.
nurses' problem.
Right. I think, yeah. But no, with me, it's, I lately I have been going to the gym. But that's because I wanted to focus on myself. These are, the words from my kids, focus on yourself, mom. But, but lately that's what I've been doing. But before, how I would manage with that is just, I do go out, I do have some friends that I go out and just hang out with most of the time. But I think shopping will be my key on as far as how I deal with my day to day. And then, of course, in the morning before I go to work, it's always, touching with God. How do we start our day? I cannot leave my car without my prayers. That's how I start my day. At night, when I go home at night, I watch TV maybe, or I started Korean drama lately. But that's pretty much it. There's really nothing for me to let go of what's going on in the day. But the thing that most importantly is whatever happens at work, you cannot take it at home, because you cannot let it affect your home base. You need to learn how to separate that. Although not all the time that you're able to do it, because it does have sometimes it does have something to do with what's going on at home. But you need to be able to disconnect yourself from that part. Okay, because there's always going to be another day. The next day before you go to work, you do your prayers and you should be good.
It's a mindset thing.
It is. It's all about that.
I want to capture what you just said earlier, that you start your day with prayer. And I want people to always remember that, because as we also get entrusted with a lot of things,
Right.
we cannot do it alone. And the wisdom that we have, the knowledge that we have from school, it's already obsolete.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough. And it's already long gone.
Exactly.
Right? But we have to have that heavenly wisdom for us to keep moving forward. Because some people ask us, how do you stay in business all this time? We're touching 24 years, right? And the only thing I would say is God lead us. God is the one leading us. God equip us. God give us the wisdom. And for us to be doing what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we keep moving forward, we need to honor and we have to accept that we need him,
Right.
right? In
Exactly.
making sound
Mhm.
decision, right? Because imagine if we're just gonna decide through our human perspective, we're always gonna fail.
Exactly.
It's not enough, right? It's not gonna get us to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want you to capture that you have to believe on a higher power,
Right.
more powerful than you. And for us to talk about God all day long. And that's really what gives us who we are today.
Yeah, that's I need to have that before I can even start my day. I don't ever leave my car without, having that. And even, driving to work, I started that already.
And that's our
know,
peace,
that's-
you know?
Yeah.
Peace knowing that no matter what our day looks like,
Mhm. Exactly.
He's gonna be there. Peace that if we can't even solve a problem for the day and we have to go home and we have to leave it behind, knowing that He's gonna be fine. That He's gonna look after that, right?
I usually call that my calm before the storm. So, because you're going to work, so
I'm gonna copy that.
my calm before the storm. Because I live about 45 minutes to an hour from here, so I have that enough time to to be with him and just talk about it. Sometimes I kind of like people are looking at me in the traffic. Why are you talking to yourself? I'm talking to him. So this is my time. This
I'm
is
not
my
crazy.
time. I'm not crazy, but I'm having a discussion right now. So it all depends if he's gonna answer me back right there and then. But yeah. That is my calm before the storm.
Likewise,
Yes.
same. And morning while I'm getting ready, turn on the Christian music and already preparing my mind. God, this is your job. I'm just gonna show up today
Right.
and give my best.
Yep.
And the rest, please show up with me. Give me the wisdom that we need.
Exactly. And I guess that's how I say that, in the morning I turn myself on, per se, when I go to work. And when I leave, before, when I leave work, and that's when I turn everything off. And that's when family time starts.
And that's kind of like what I'm saying is like, even though you have a leadership role, it's also a lifestyle on its own.
Exactly.
It's a life that we also lead, right? So whoever we are, we cannot also be who we are in the office and we're not that like that at home. We have to have that value consistent, right? All the way through.
It's not easy. It wasn't easy for me getting to where I am right now. When you're talking about leadership and lifestyle, connecting the two together. There was a point in my nursing. I've been a nurse for what? Almost, I don't want to say so much numbers because they'll know my age. But anyway, 32, maybe 32 years. I was married to my job. The first 5 years is, okay, easy. Learning to know nursing, trying to see if I'd like nursing. That's basically what it was. After the 5th year, maybe after the 4th year, I was in management. And being in management, it's easy to say, yes, you're married to your job because it's 24/7.
It's a commitment.
That's what it is. It's a commitment. And you can't just turn that off. You go home, you can't turn that off because, you chose to be that. You were, you're committed to be the director. You that's what you want to do. So you have to give all your loyalty, your commitment to that position. So the responsibility of having it all. So that's what I'm saying. When you're married to your job, you have to give it all. You can't just let it go. So it's just, now that you have all these other directors under you, under me, and how you manage them, that's the one that's going to help me a lot with how I want,
Yes.
spend
Some people
myself.
does not they don't understand that being in a management team, especially the core team, you're in a war zone day
Yes,
in, day out.
yes.
Literally. Right? We're soldiers all the time and we cannot just put down our gear or, take away that weapon from us because it's a constant war, it's a 24/7 thing. And that's part actually why me and Alan decided to grow because we couldn't do it alone. Of course we have God, we need to have God. But at the same time, He gave us people, more leaders. So as we keep growing, the leadership, team grew and it made the work lighter.
Right.
Because now you have people that can help you and unload you when you need to take a few hours rest.
Right.
Because you need to have that balance in life
Exactly.
and you need to rest. But to be able to do that, you need to have a strong team of leaders with you.
Right.
And that's what we're cultivating here. Sometimes some people will say, or they keep telling me, how do you do that? Why do you keep growing? Why do you keep moving forward? Is that greediness or what? Like, no, actually we don't even plan it. We just keep showing up and give our best.
Exactly.
And but I'm liking that we are growing because now there's more heads and more people who's carrying us. We're not always well, right? All day long. There are times when we are also running rugged, running on fumes. And some people takes over and carry on what we
Right.
need to do until they're also running rugged and we take over.
Yes.
Right? So and that's actually what we do day in, day out. And
Exactly.
thank you for what you do,
course,
Pearl,
yes.
because that's not easy.
Yeah.
The balancing act. And teaching them to do the same thing.
Right.
And trusting, duplicating that what we do and duplicating that system, that behavior all the way to the bottom for other people not to get burned out as well. And just to keep enjoying and then until they can find their place and love what they do
Right. Right.
and enjoy the role that they do.
Exactly. Yes.
So let's talk about love.
Oh no.
I love it. I know there are things that I can ask, but your children are the love of your life.
They are. They
And
are.
they're
I have two wonderful children, 27 and she's going to be 21 next month. Yeah. So 27 and 2020. My boy is 27. He graduated as physical therapist about a year now. He's looking to go back to school to get his DPT. Yeah. So, and my daughter is in still school, UCR, moving to CBU. I don't know if I can announce that yet, but yeah, moving to CBU for psychology. Yes.
and they're
Wonderful
really,
kids.
They're doing well.
They're-
They're wonderful kids. They're the ones checking on you more than you checking on them.
Exactly. They look at the GPS and like, Mom, where are you at? How come you're not home yet? So it's good. They're watching over me.
And I think even though you're growing your career path, girl, your love, your home, your family is also a reflection of the balance that you do.
Yes.
That now that even though you're busy and you're growing yourself, there's no neglect in the family side.
No.
And that's what I also want to stress. You can grow and not neglect you as a person. Take care of yourself. At the same time, prioritize your family as well. We don't want to be married to our work and then compromise the family.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we have to make sure that they're well attended to as well. And your children, who they are, just speaks volume, right? So and that's one thing we wanted to share to everyone, that don't be scared on the leadership role.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
keep growing and learning, and eventually you'll know what to do.
Right.
You know how to balance. Well, you know when to. It's time to go home.
Right.
Time to
Know when to balance yourself. Yes. That's a key thing. Yes.
to turn off that that leadership title and it's time to be a mommy.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yes. Especially, when they're young, they need that cultivating of, teaching them what needs to be done,
But they also play a big role in you working hard. The family is also the ones that push us to keep getting better. So that's another one. Having that community, having that strong support behind the scene also makes who we are,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
And the values we get from that family is actually the same value we implement in our workplace. We cannot be good in our workplace, not being good at home.
Yeah, you start at home. Yes. You cannot be good if you're not fixed within yourself.
Correct.
You're not healthy within yourself, because that's going to show. Okay.
And that's something I also want to emphasize for, because we have leaders that also learning to be good directors, good leaders. Sometimes you have people that are problematic at work. And sometimes we're just so fast in writing them up or firing them. And maybe one more step. Talk to them and assess. 90+% there's a problem at home. And that's something they need to fix. And majority, that's the heart-to-heart. That's a hard conversation. But at the same time, that's the missing link. That them going back home and fix that brokenness at home. And then come back to work. Because they cannot be good at work without fixing what's broken at home.
Exactly. And I think that's the part of the balancing act that I mentioned earlier. You need to know how to balance yourself. You know what you need to take home and what you need to take to work. So you need to know when to turn on, when to turn off. because anything else will affect work or will affect home.
And
So
that's
it's all about that.
And that's how we gauge our team if they're
Exactly.
blooming. Meaning there's now balance in their personal life, in their own self, personal life, and then work.
That's when you bloom in the battlefield.
That's when you
what
bloom on the battlefield, right?
Exactly.
Talk about lifestyle.
Okay.
I know we touch lifestyle a little bit. And part of the thing that we always push is, even though we're busy, we're scratching our head, there are so many times when of course, we face audits, we have crying times, but we still look our best.
Right.
Right? And that's kind of like our lifestyle that we have also here. Bringing in our workplace, bringing in your own personal life. And because majority of the time you spend more time here at work than anywhere else, right? How do you plan that? How do you look your best every single day? Monday to Friday. And weekends in between.
I don't know
Is
if
there
I'm
magic
looking my
to it?
best.
Is there
I don't think
formula?
there's as far as formula, I don't use any formula. I just know that, when to get ready and how to feel good about myself. It's all about, I think to me, it's inside. It's if you feel good about yourself, then it'll show up. It'll show it on the outside. There is nothing magic as far as what I use, what I do for myself, or what's what. My lifestyle is just, love yourself, have God within your heart, love the people around you. Anything else will fall in place.
And I'm gonna share what I like and admire the most: discipline. You have discipline when you call today and rest. And then you wake up again. Now, Pearl is an early riser,
Yes.
right?
4:00.
Um,
4:30.
That's when I
That's when you
turn
go
off
to
my
sleep.
computer
That's when I start
Good
looking and you're
night.
barely going to sleep.
and say night night.
Yeah.
But that discipline is amazing because we need to take care of ourselves, right? And I need to still do that. Need to work on that.
Yep.
I
I keep telling you, go to sleep.
So I told Alan, I probably have a day when I need, I can be in the office and study. Because
Right.
my study time, I study every night.
Uh-huh.
So I read and study every night what I need to do next.
Right.
So that's the time, the moment after taking care of the kids, they're fine, they're sleeping, it's my time. I read the Bible and I study, right?
Everybody has their own medium.
Yeah. But I like what you do.
Yeah. With me, I turn myself off after work. I clear my mind. I watch TV. I go to bed, and then the next day, 4:30, that's a new day for me. That's when I turn everything back on and start anew.
Actually, me and Alan decided
So-
we have to do that. Just probably go sleep earlier, wake up as early as you can, and study then.
Right.
So we're
Because you
working
have a
hard.
clearer mind.
Yeah.
You're basically turning yourself off from the day prior. Because that's already done. Let's start something new.
And that makes you amazing. So that's something that we want to share and the audience to capture is that love of self and the discipline. You're not gonna lead a big organization. You can't
Right.
without discipline, right? Because you're gonna cultivate the same thing. Otherwise,
Yes.
we're gonna run rugged and we won't be able to show up. We can't show up, right? So anything that I haven't asked you, the behind the scene Pearl, the Pearl that we probably don't know, maybe top two to three things that maybe you can share. Who is the true Pearl behind the scene, outside from work,
Outside from work.
or maybe at work as well? What makes Pearl Pearl?
Well, at work, just like what you mentioned earlier, I have the flat effect. I have to stay that because of who I am and what I do. But beyond that, I can be a comedian. I have a lot of jokes that I can say. But I'm a very emotional person per se. I take everything in, but I also know when to let it go. Okay, I know what I can take. I know what I can learn from. I know when to balance things. But mainly, who I am is just a regular person. I like to go out. I like to hang out with friends. I like to go shopping, and that's my thing really. Just to go out shopping, enjoy my family. My siblings are around me, so I like to visit them a lot. So Usually my weekend it's cooking. It's cooking. It's because I don't have I don't have time to cook when I go home on a daily basis. So my weekend, the family, my son comes home, every other week. My daughter, it's already expected Filipino breakfast. Filipino breakfast. It's like routine. If you change that, they're gonna ask. But I love to cook. Unfortunately, I don't know how to cook Filipino food. But I know how to cook Thai food. So that's basically what it is, unless it's Filipino breakfast. But that's my thing. Cooking, shopping, going out, and just enjoying myself. That's pretty much it. That's who I am. That's what I do.
I met a retired nurse in San Diego one time. She's a friend of our neighbor in the Philippines. And we were shopping. And she was buying something. And I was asking her, Tita, shopping. What do you come here every week? I come here every week. I shop every week. Okay, so you're retired. What else do you need?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I don't really need much, Annabelle, but I find shopping something that gives me a fresh look.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that I'm scared about one day, when I don't see the colors anymore, when I'm not attracted to something anymore. So for as long as I'm attracted to something, whether it's clothes, bags, jewelry, or something, I know that I am alive.
Wow.
Because my eyes are still seeing its colors. My heart is still gravitating to it, to wanting it. So sometimes it's not a matter of need. It's a matter of feeling good. I may use it once. I may buy it. I may use it and give it away. But at that moment, I love what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's also a good perspective. Because after, if you see other people, when they tell us day in, day out, don't give me something, I don't need anything.
Right.
Right? And then it becomes blah, and they're still wearing the old stuff. And she said, no, you should have new things and enjoy the new things that you see.
Right.
So, wow. That's my excuse to Alan when I want to go shopping. But,
well, actually, the shopping part, if I may go back and clarify, I don't buy everything that I see, but I do like to, window shopping or, just walking around and enjoying what you see, just like what your friend had mentioned. Yeah. So that's to me is shopping, it's just being out there or even online, that's the one that keeps my mind busy.
I can relate to that. Mine is, I love designing. So I'm a hoarder of magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to look at interior design, architectural design. So when I'm stressed, I don't know what to do, I'm stuck up, I'll grab a magazine and look at design. And then my mind will start, thinking again, moving again. Yeah. Right? So anything that, like you said, find a medium that keeps you going.
Exactly.
But I want to also emphasize what you said. I'm an emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
In our first podcast with Paco, he said it as well. And I talked to a lot of people. You don't have to be a robot to be able to lead. You cannot also be someone stiff to lead a company. And I believe as you keep leading a lot of people, you are more emotional than anything.
Exactly.
You are becoming more human than anything. And I think that makes a team, an organization successful because it's run by true human beings and not just a corporate SOP, a robotic system, 1, 2, 3, out the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
We are dealing with people all day long. We're dealing with patients all day long. We're dealing with people with different baggages all day long. And for us to be an effective leader, we need to make sure that emotion is still present.
Right. You need to know how to deal with that emotions. Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And not to forget that we're also dealing with someone with an emotion.
Right.
It's not a matter of, oh, well, by the way, this is what you did out the door, right? We have to make sure that we don't forget that. And that, I believe that's part of
yes,
the success that you have, the success that we have. Because we make sure that we don't lose sight in that. We don't lose sight that there's someone out there, waiting for us to be emotional. And make sure we don't forget them, that they're also waiting for us to guide them and lead them. And not just look at them as, someone who's doing their job or another body that needs to do what they need to do
Right.
to make our job easier. We're like me and Alan were always joking. We're like shepherds, you know. We're always shipping. We're always right. That we have these people that we're always around, and we're the dad. We're I'm the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the dad, and we're always the one guiding them. Not just a matter of being a boss,
Mm-hmm.
but someone that will also mold them to be who they need to be and want to be in the future.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, and I believe in that as well. But there's also that part that being a leader of a company, you also need to learn when to emotionally detach yourself from a situation. You
There's
know,
the balance.
because yeah, exactly. Because if you don't, then that
It's
will
like-
affect every decision making that you may have.
And I think
Critically.
I want to also add to that. It's like a parent, right? So you love them so much, but at the same time, there are times when you have to discipline them.
Mhm.
There are times to have that check. Well, I need to take off your gadget because you're distracted.
Exactly.
That's love, right? So, and I think,
It's hard, but sometimes it needs to be done. The tough love.
but you said
Yeah.
the all good things, the great things, Pearl. You know, you touch it all from love what you do, and if not your interest is to love other people, and then to be emotionally strong and stay emotional, right? And at the same time, the discipline,
Right.
and then of course to always make sure that have God in all that you do.
That's the key word there.
That's the key to be a very
That's a key
strong,
word.
strong, good leader.
Yes.
Is to have someone stronger than you that you can also lean on and copy,
Right.
right, and learn from,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
rely, strengths from, knowing that He's there where we can be unstoppable in anything that we do.
Right. Yep, exactly. And none of those things really needs to be advertised out there on what, like you have to tell everybody that you go through, oh, I do this every day, I do that. No, it's really how you deal with your day to day, how you would present yourself in the start of your day. And just like what you said, you have that effect on people. Love what you do and everything else will fall in place. That's how I would look at it. How I do with myself.
And that's how we can grow our team.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So there you go, everybody. I hope you learned something today. I hope you got some takeaway. I learned a lot today. And so from our 4Ls, from leadership, life, love, and lifestyle, it's finding balance in all of those aspects, not compromising yourself, not compromising your family and your community, right? And what makes you keep going. And of course, at the end of the day, everything will just fall into place in your workplace because of all those things. And the
Yes.
key word is love God, have God in your heart, and love what you do, love yourself.
Love yourself. Yes. Exactly.
Okay, so everybody, until next time, we'll see you again. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for listening, and hope you're taking notes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for her. Well, Pearl, I think we'll have Pearl again one of these days and have her back with other topics.
With different stories at
With
that.
different stories. We're gonna have her share jokes, right?
Okay,
that
yes.
time.
I think I know where this is going to next time.
Now we know what to do.
Yes.
So everyone, I just want to share again, our book is available at edsonsolutions.com. Bloom on the battlefield. I hope you can grab yours and learn, from our leaders of our leaders how to bloom. We will have more books coming up, and we're excited to put together another book. We will call it Firehouse Leadership. We have so many materials. We have so many leaders who will be sharing different topics on that, and looking forward to share that to you soon. So,
Get
thank
your
you,
books
everyone.
now. Thank you.